know.
Hi, viewers. Welcome to another episode of the Nana Yayabwa Show. Today, I'm not the only Nana on screen. There are two of us. You get the Nana and you get the Queen. So I have Queen Mimi with me. Queen, welcome to the Nana Yayabwa podcast.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having us on the show.
You are most welcome. So, living by design. So
Okay.
Queen is going to walk us through how we can live by design. And they
Hmm.
say knowledge is not in any particular one person's head. It is a universal thing, and we all pick from different people to accumulate it, and that's where we become wise. So you're going to share some of your experiences with us, how you've been able to, through your challenges and everything, help sort of on the road crafting the life that you want. But let's get to who you are, and I'm going to give the audience who are pretty much around in three major places in Ghana, in UK, and in US. Yes. And
All right.
some in Indonesia. I don't know how that happened, but whoever the audience in Indonesia, thank you very much for tuning in into the Nanaya Yabua podcast. So here we go. Queen Mimi was born in Georgia, is it Georgia, and
Yep.
grew up in Jacksonville, Florida. She's a spoken word artist and has performed on various platforms just such as Jazz Poetry Cafe. Her first album, Pain, Purpose, and Survival. Now, survival is what we need in
Oh
this
yeah.
day and age.
Oh yeah.
It came out in 2018. She's also an author of the book of the same name, Pain, Purpose, and Survival. She is the CEO of Military Camp Records. Now I know where the military came from. Okay,
Yes.
got you. Producer, singer, songwriter. Not only that, she hosts a podcast, the Queen Mimi podcast, Real Talk and Real Topics with her husband, Carl G. I think I you came into the limelight because I think I tuned into one of your podcasts.
Yeah.
It just head up and I tuned in and I listened. It's like, how can I seduce this woman onto my podcast? And here we are. My seduction worked.
We definitely appreciate it. Definitely. Definitely.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So let's get into your background, growing up in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yes. Growing up in Jacksonville, Florida was bittersweet, to be honest. Short story, went through child abuse, was in and out of foster care system, whole 9 yards by our mother, us and our sister. We had good times, so on and so forth. But went through a lot of physical abuse, emotional abuse. Flash forward, it was two different times. We actually was a ward of the state. That's what they call it, because when you're in
Mhm.
foster care, you're not living with your parents, and you turn 18. Let them tell you belong to the state. So flash forward to 18, got pregnant with our now 19-year-old daughter. Had a few kids after that. Went through a couple relationships, domestic violence, homelessness, mental health issues. Long story short, but the beauty and all that is we put it in a journal. Um, Started just writing about things we were going through. We never were good at talking. Writing was like our best friend. So we were
Mhm.
able to write down everything we really had difficulty saying to other people, especially, things that bothered us, so on and so forth. But transition from that to doing poetry. Loved it. Still do to this day, writing every day, when we can. Um, from that to doing open mic. Started without
Mhm.
the music. And then we were like, let's do something a little different and put some music with it. So that's where our album Pain, Purpose, and Survival came from. We did write the whole entire album, so everything was written by us. Wasn't producing at that time, but everything still came out good. It's on any music streaming platforms, so y'all can go check that out as well. Um, Upbringing wasn't really taught or even thought about what our purpose was,
Mm.
why we were here. We did ask ourselves that question. We don't know how many times, especially when things got hard. Um, Through everything, all the pain. Like I said, there were happy times. All the pain, the struggle, the heartache, the heartbreak, and everything. We learned that we like to help people. We learned that we
Mm.
like to express ourselves and be creative, and that was suppressed for so many years. And we struggled with finding our purpose. We struggled with it for a while because we were listening to other people, afraid of what they were going to say, what they were going to do. And we were like, you know what? You're holding yourself back. Like, why? You have all this potential inside you, you have all this greatness inside you, so on and so forth. You need to put it out there. So that's when we started doing the open mics. We started modeling at the time, started writing our book, and just took little small steps. And we haven't hit mainstream like other people, but that doesn't really bother us because we still found a constructive way to express who we are. And now we want to take our story and help young women, anyone that's going through domestic violence, homelessness, struggling with your identity, whatever the case may be. You want to better your life, you want to save your life. um,
Yeah.
that's what we hope to do with our music, our podcast, radio, and it was it was a crazy upbringing, but got us here. So honestly,
Wow.
people gonna think, why would she say that? We do it all over again. We wouldn't change anything.
Wow. That is a lot. That is a lot.
Oh yeah.
Uh, it's
Oh
you
yeah.
know, with this narrative, somebody may go through it, but the outcome may be different.
Oh yeah.
So then what gave you that resiliency? Because there's a resiliency in there somehow that made you come this way and not just give up and say I'm done. Because some people attempt
Yeah.
suicide when they think all hell is it's done, and as you said, what is my purpose?
Um, I don't know how to quit. I don't know. We've always been a fighter. We've always fought for what we believed in, what we loved, and that's the only thing we can really say. We never knew how to quit unless it was like no other way possible at all. We always try to find a solution, or like we said, look on the bright side, the positive side, and just tell ourselves this ain't permanent. You're gonna get through this. Keep going. Don't know what the end result will be, but keep going because we don't have anything to prove to anyone, but we know there are people out there just like anybody else would that want to see you fail, that
Mm.
don't want to see you happy, they don't want to see you succeed. Some do, as long as you're not doing better than them, which is really sad. But as far as us, we don't know how to give up or quit. And things have gotten hard, and this is in our past, of course. But we don't know how. Don't know how to quit.
I would say you're a very optimistic person, and like we were having the background conversation, and I did
Yeah.
confess that problems always exist. We will die and still leave problems, on earth, and it will continue, continue, continue.
Oh yeah.
So, but not knowing how to quit is, I think, it's a genetic thing in you, and your name. How did you come about the name Queen Mimi? I should
Yes.
have asked
Um,
that first.
oh yeah. It's all good. Actually, we started out as Queen Candy. Candy was a nickname that we had growing up. Our whole family called us that. They never called us by our real name. So if you said our real name wrong, they're like, "Who's that?"
Hmm.
Like that's me, y'all, right here. But we started out as Queen Candy, and I think we mentioned that before we started recording. Our husband brought us up here. We currently live in Illinois now, and started teaching us Islam. We are a Muslim woman. We are a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and one of the things we had to do was change our name.
Mm-hmm.
So we are Manima. Mimi is short for Manima, Queen Mimi.
Manima.
Yeah, Manima Muhammad. So
Manima. How
yeah,
do you spell it?
it's Minimah, and it's very easy to say.
Manima.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
So for the
I,
people that can't say our name for whatever reason, we just say just call us Mimi. But eventually we get
okay.
them around and saying our name. So um I think it was the fifth season when we started our podcast. When we started the fifth season, um, we were talking with our husband. We was like, we being brand new. You know, we being a
Mm-hmm.
brand new person, brand new life. We still going through things, learning things, but we wanted to get rid of Candy because that was a part of the old version of
Mm-hmm.
us, the old person that we were. So Manema, that's who we are now. We accepted, stepped into that role, and for those like we said can't say our name, we tell them to say Mimi. So we decided to put that with Queen, and there we go.
So when you're speaking, you say we.
Yes. I get that question a lot. The reason why we say we is because, like we said, we are Muslim. We follow Islam, so we never speak of I, me, mine. We never use those words. We always refer to ourselves in Allah, which would be Master Father Muhammad, which would be Allah in the flesh. I think we said that correctly. Um, and we always say we, us. So anybody that talks to us, they always like, "Why are you saying? Are you saying you and your husband?" Like, no, it's it's just me.
No,
But yeah,
this is where what I was thinking. When you said we, I thought because Islam, you are allowed to marry up to four wives.
that would be Orthodox. We don't do that.
I hear somebody laughing in the background.
My husband, he was laughing because a lot of people actually think that because they think we follow the old version of Islam, but that's not. No, that's not what we do. Orthodox Muslims, they have their own messenger, which will be the Prophet Abdul Muhammad, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. They believe in that. We don't. We don't do that. We have one husband, and he's right there. So they have their own. How can we say, babe? Their own profit. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. So,
God
and a
help
lot of
us
people think
all.
that. So, like I said, don't feel bad, but a lot of people actually think that. So, yeah,
God help us all. I will leave the religious dogma on the side. Now that I have a better understanding of the
yeah,
we, why you saying the we, it's not you
yeah,
and your co-wife
yeah,
or wives. It's just you and
yeah.
your prophets
Uh,
and God,
yeah, yep.
whatnot. Okay, I understand.
We
I
always
am.
represent him no matter what we do, where we go. So that's why we always do that. And we know it's confusing because a lot of people don't know, but yeah. Which is understandable because a lot of people really don't know. Not to say that they're stupid or anything, but they really don't know, you know. So yeah.
Yes, most definitely, most definitely. Yes. So, pain, purpose, and survival. We're done with the we. Continue with the we.
Most definitely.
So, let me make you laugh a little bit. If I wasn't really paying attention, when you say we, sometimes in Akan or in many of the Ghanaian languages, we is marijuana.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I got you.
So
Oh yeah.
if we weren't speaking in different cultural terms and I didn't understand where you were coming from, the alternative thinking I'll be having is,
You
the
know. Oh,
meditative substance.
we
Yes.
all
Eh,
we already know.
when you utilize it to meditate your mind, body, and soul, and
Yep.
call on God, and
Oh yeah.
hallelujah, or salam alaikum, Allah akbar, whichever one it
Yep.
is.
Oh, you had it right. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, you had it right. And we say, well, salam in return. Do you know what that means by any
What?
chance? Assalamu alaikum.
Peace be unto you.
Yeah, it's close. It's out. I think I heard.
And survival.
Yes.
Pain, purpose, and survival. I saw the things like, okay, pain, I understand. Purpose and survival. Like, how did all three come together?
Oh man. Last minute. It was crazy because when we were recording the album, we didn't have a title for any song. So that was the crazy part. So we're in the studio and the engineer, the producers asked us like, "What you want to call it?" So we're like, "Play the song," and he played it, and that's how we came up with different names for the song, for each song that we did. The title, it was self-explanatory, to be honest. Our backstory we gave earlier, all
Yeah.
the pain and stuff we went through,
Hmm.
not knowing better, long relationships, so on and so forth. Through all that, we learned what the purpose of it was, because we had to go through it to get to where we are today. And you're gonna hear that on a lot of the album. Survival, self-explanatory, because we're still here. Didn't kill us, didn't destroy us, didn't break us. So that's pretty much self-explanatory. And we wanted to pick something as well, like that stood out.
Hmm.
Well, I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but that really represented for your first album, like who we were, what we went through, what we learned, the mistakes we made, and it's kind of spur of the moment thing. It wasn't even planned. We just wrote the album, and everything
Yeah.
just fell together. So um, it's self-explanatory, and it just kind of made sense. Like I said, you guys check out some of the music. It'll make more sense. But
Yeah, I'll share the
like
links in the video.
okay,
Yeah.
like one song we have is called "Selfish." It's on the album as well, and it's on our music streaming platforms. Uh, One of our favorites because we wrote that about an ex that we allowed to control, dominate, and forgot about who we were. So that's just an example of one of the songs that's on there. But that's why we came up with that title, because we made it through.
What are some of the lessons you learned from all these? Because there's no experience without a lesson or lessons. There may be young men and women, not let me say young men and women. There may be women, maybe older, who are
Yeah.
still in toxic relationships, who are still pining for a love which is toxic. What are some of the lessons you learned, and what can you,
Um,
share with us?
Number one, learn to love yourself. We always put so much love into other people. We never take care of ourselves. And women, we do it all the time. We get married, we have kids, we have jobs. I gotta go here. I gotta be with my husband. I gotta take care of him. I gotta make sure the kids are okay. Being a mother of four, definitely know about that. Um, it's okay to be by yourself. Everyone acts like it's such a death sentence that you're alone and you're single. You're really not alone. You just have standards. Um,
So
Whatever your passion is.
let's get back to the first one. When
Uh
you say learn to love yourself, what are some of the things a person can do for self love?
huh.
Because
Find out.
somebody will say, how do I do that? I don't know how to love myself. This
And
is
you know
what I
what?
know.
It's so many different ways, and everybody is so different when it comes to doing that. So it can be, find a hobby. It can
Mm-hmm.
be writing. It can be painting. It can be, I'm gonna just take a walk. I'm gonna just go sit at the park. It can be deleting any, negativity or toxic people out of your life. It can be finding your purpose, like you asked a little while ago. It can be anything.
Mm-hmm.
Anything. It can be reflecting on your life. You know what, I messed up. I'm gonna do this different next time. It can be self accountability. That's something that we all have to do. Take care of yourself. Just do something simple as wash your hair. Do your nails. Don't get out the bed looking like you just rolled out the bed, then you leaving the house like I love myself. People can see right through that. We did it. We did it. We used to go when we were going to school for business. Hair was a mess. We didn't iron our clothes, weren't taking care of ourselves, and it was because of that we stepped up. Started getting our hair done and wearing business attire because we didn't care. We didn't love ourselves. So it can be something simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the top things is stop worrying so much about other people and their opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Your life matters, your voice matters, you matter. Don't let nobody take that away from you. You have power. Speaking to the women, men too, but men speaking to the women.
Yeah.
You have so much power. We the only creature on this earth that can bleed and not die. Do you know how much power that is?
Mm-hmm.
So it can mean different things for different people. But number
Mm-hmm.
one thing we're gonna say is figure out what makes you happy. Only you can do that. There's so many ways and people are different. You know,
Yes.
if it's something that you've been putting off starting a business, you
Just
know,
do it.
yeah, just do it. And then make it mean something to you. We all get into
Mm-hmm.
things to make money and there's nothing wrong with that. But make it mean something to you. Just like we said with our show, we like to help women, young women and older women.
Yes.
You can do something like that. I know I want to play the guitar to make my grandma smile. I don't know, just throw something out there, whatever. But just find your why. What makes you happy? And
Yes.
it's so great that everybody's so different and we have our own interpretation. Even being married, we have different things from our husband that make us happy. And
Mm-hmm.
that's cool. That's
Mm-hmm.
cool. But it's to each his own. You
Yeah.
know, we can sit here and go down a list, but make it mean something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make your life mean something. We can go on and on. Make your
Make it
life.
mean something, add value to your life, whatever that value is to you. And
Yep.
just like the Queen herself said, there are various ways of adding meaning to your life. If you need to
Oh, yeah.
learn a new language, so be it. If you need to, travel and
Yeah.
see the world, and the world doesn't mean traveling to another country, another city, another state.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also good for your mental health as well. So
Yep.
um no, I we are not in mental health yet. Pause, lady.
Yes, I say that. I wanted to say, I didn't mean
Yes.
to cut you off. Um, don't know if we mentioned this already, but Islam as well did help us, learn to love ourselves, shower every day, do our hair, and just take better care of ourselves. Helped us to grow,
Hmm.
if you will, and just learning, like you said, find out where we come from and who we are. We're actually learning that through Islam as well. And our husband is helping us. He's been great, patient. We've never seen it because anybody else we've been with it, you know what? I'm out. Forget you. All that. He patient because he's been through this before. So it's patience like we've never seen. So he don't like to get the props, but we give it to him anyway. Because we would never known if it weren't for him. So,
Hmm.
but that
Hmm.
definitely it did help and
Yeah.
helped us to distance ourselves from a lot of negativity and toxic.
Hmm.
And I said we ain't gonna get into that, but yeah, it's
No,
helped as well.
actually, I was going to get into that because we're living by design, and yours is more like how the Islamic religion has helped you spiritually
Yes.
through grounding. Yes, so we're going to go by it because if we're living by design, what does that mean? We're talking about the mind, body, and soul.
Mm-hmm. It
So let's talk about your spiritual grounding through the religion, Islamic religion.
yes.
Look
Where
at
do
how
we
you are
start?
smiling now.
Where do we start? We'll start here.
Hmm.
So when we first came up here, we were lost, just got a bad relationship, didn't have nothing to our name. It was real hard, and think for the first couple of weeks we weren't together yet, but our husband, he was consoling us and helping us. That's over with. They was wrong. They're gonna get what's coming to them. Keep moving forward. And we started noticing we kept saying a lie, and he was saluting and stuff around the house, and we are like, "Are you Muslim?" And he was like, "Yeah." And we told him we were introduced to Islam a few years ago, but It was with the wrong person, so that didn't work out. But that's neither here nor there. But um, asked him to start teaching us. Um, Started reading, studying, do that every day, and just how can we say opened our eyes to a lot of truth, if you will. Um, a lot of things we were doing was wrong. Had no business doing it. We didn't know. We didn't know better. We really did not know how to love ourselves. We were not taking care of ourselves every day. I think when we got up here, it was the first time we ate good, and we don't know how long, slept good. It just brought us so much peace. That's why we're saying all this. It brought us so much peace because we didn't have to feel like we were on pins and needles, like we were afraid to have that fear, of being ourselves. And through Islam, it just helped us, be free. You've been oppressed most of your life. You allow people to hold you down most of your life. Just be free. If they don't like it, oh well. And as you can see, we have a head covering on our head, which you have to wear at all times. But it's days when things get really hard. We hold on to that, and yes, we've come to believe that that is, our truth. Just learning that we can help people now in a different way. We can still
Mm-hmm.
do that, and being the best version, as our husband always says, of yourself, better than we could have ever been in our life. And yeah, it pushes us to do better. When we like, I don't feel like doing nothing. No, we're not about to be lazy. Let's go. Let's get it. You want this? You got to put in work. Motivated us just to get up, uh, push through hard days. I said we can go on and on. Just to motivate ourselves, say positive things, knowing we're not really alone when we feel like we're alone or we think we're alone. Uh, wow. Helped us to believe in ourselves again. We lost that for so long, and got it back. And now, especially this year, we're not taking it no more. We finna do this show, Islam, radio, writing, music. We gonna do it 100%, or we might as well just go back doing what we was doing.
That's
So,
it.
um, we know other people have their own reasons for following Islam, but main reason, to be honest, we didn't want to die.
That's
Just,
a
just to be honest,
legitimate reason.
yeah.
That
Go,
is mhm.
yeah.
That's a legitimate reason.
They're
If your
not.
time is not ready, why do you,
No,
push it ahead
no,
until you're ready? And like you said, you have a purpose. So, we go through all these different journeys to arrive at the purpose, and you accumulate these
mhm,
experiences as you're on this journey. Otherwise, you and I will not be having this conversation,
no.
because it's I have my personal journey I've gone through with
Of
all
course,
my challenges and everything, and you have yours. I did not grow up overnight to be Nana Yaya Boa.
yeah.
It took decades to
Oh,
get here. Eh, yes, exactly. It took decades to get here,
mhm.
but in all, I am very, very appreciative of the challenges that I went through to get
Yep,
here. And I'll tell you the reason why. The world is going through so much darkness
it is.
that it needs people with optimism, with positivity, with having a sense of purpose to add greater positive value to other human beings.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And
I
I rest
completely
my
agree with
case.
that. Yeah, that's true. And we're dealing with a lot right now, and this world could use a whole lot more compassion and understanding.
Yes.
So much, and that's one of the things we always had, and then we still realized it wasn't working.
Yeah.
Because people take advantage of your kindness. So it was so many reasons why we had to step away, but that and not wanting to die because we just realized I'm not doing this right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we want to treat people how we want to be treated. You
Yes,
know, does it always happen? No, but you know, it is what it is. You can't control other people. You can only control yourself. But
that is right.
yeah, this is we watch news every day. People getting hit with tornadoes and rain, the hurricanes, and we just shaking our head. People need to really wake up. This,
I will tell you this. I stopped watching all the negativity
yeah,
on television or listening to any of those things because sometimes, like you said, the hurricanes, fires, and everything is beyond my control. I
oh
cannot
yeah,
do anything about it. But what I can do is having conversations with people like you, bringing a little bit of light and hope to the world that it is possible. And irrespective of every challenge, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. Yes. So in order for us, in order for the world to go still go on, which means you and I still need to keep our optimism high. We need to know the whys we're doing what we're doing, living by a design, and reach people that sometimes, like I said, Indonesia, I didn't even know that I had audience in
and that's
Indonesia,
big. That's big.
which is very humbling and
Yeah.
very appreciative. So that made me under really bring me to it that when I think the podcast is for persons of color, black people telling our story to inspire and motivate, it's not only for us.
Oh,
Any human being going through a challenge, this message is for you. So if you chance to listen, subscribe to the Nanaya Yabua podcast in conversation with Queen Mimi of the Queen Mimi podcast and follow her on YouTube on the Queen Mimi podcast. Subscribe and you get more positivity, more
yeah.
lessons to learn to live your life.
And that's actually the name of our show that we're doing Sunday. It's Sunday Positivity Talk. And that's the whole point is to give positivity, you know, motivation and share our story, you know, our journey. Of course, we throw Islam in there. We mention that. Of course, we can't leave that out. But yeah, that's actually what it's called. Sunday Positivity Talk.
Okay, Sunday Positivity Talk.
Yeah.
So tune in. She's on LinkedIn to the Sunday Positivity Talk. So I think that's what kind of pulled me to you.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
It popped up and I listened. It's like, okay,
Thank you.
all right, get on that on your podcast.
Thank you.
Okay, the biggest topic: mental health.
Yes.
Nobody can live in this day and age without talking about mental health because we've gone through financial crisis, there are wars going on, there's so many things going on. I'm in Canada, so I'm in Canada. However, I wouldn't say there's no racism, there's no discrimination, there's no
Hmm.
microaggressiveness towards, people like, just like me. There's no
Right.
passive aggressiveness at work. There are all these things and more.
Yep. There are people, you know, mental health is so broad and people are different. They deal with it in different ways. You know, unfortunately some people do take their life dealing with that. And we always judge them and why would they do that? Why would they do that? Will we recommend that to anybody that sees this? No. Because we know how hard it is. um, to anybody that can even relate. You grew up in a toxic household, your parents, you said relationships, there's hardships, homelessness, sleeping on the streets, just and we just naming things, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Um, People trying to silence you, you know, who you are, what you want to do. And if you don't know better, you allow them. And it's only
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know better and you don't really know how to love yourself, let alone love somebody else.
Somebody else, yeah.
So it's then we had COVID hit a couple years ago. That's still going on. I don't know why people think COVID gonna went somewhere, but it haven't. But um COVID going on, people losing their jobs, businesses, homelessness, inflation, everything's going up. Yeah, people gonna be on edge, absolutely. But that light, somebody got to be the light, and
Yes.
it's easy to fall into that evil, dark pattern. We know. Um, wish we could. I don't even know if you could see that right there.
Are they cats?
Yeah, that's how bad we got dealing with our mental health. So we know. You feel
You were
like,
suicidal.
yeah, you feel like you were nobody. Everybody we were around made us feel like we were a loser. We weren't good enough. We weren't smart enough. We weren't pretty enough, and we never claimed to be perfect. Never. But we will not sit here and say we're not a good woman, a good mother, and a good person because we have a good heart. But we were around the wrong people, and we
Mm-hmm.
had to leave the whole state just
Mm-hmm.
to get away from all that. Which everything happens for a reason because we're not upset at
Mm-hmm.
all. We're not. But we know what it's like. You try, and it's never good enough. You know, you're not the number one person, family, relationships, or whatever. It's like no matter what you try, it falls through. You know, it's always somebody that better than you, or that people tell it prettier than you, that can do this better, or they look better, sound better,
Mm.
whatever the case may be. People just don't appreciate it. And coming from our background, like we said, foster care, child abuse, homelessness, domestic violence, fighting, literally fighting for our life. We know for anybody that sees this, what any of y'all are going through. We still deal with anxiety every now and then. We talk to our husband about it, and he, like I said, being real patient, supportive. You know, babe, it's gonna be all right. You know what we say is, Allah's the greatest. We always say that, and just keeps us upbeat and positive. And what we laugh more now. We actually laugh more now,
Mm-hmm.
even when things are bad. Just like today, we start off a little rough. You know, it happens, but we laughed our way through it,
Yes.
and we through Islam, and don't mean to keep throwing that in there, but it's helped us. So that's the only thing we can really say. Helped us just enjoy life, just laugh. Things can
Mm-hmm.
always be worse. And to anybody that's dealing with that, it's not necessarily anything wrong with you. You just have to learn how to, deal with the punches. Deal with the struggles, deal with the heartache, because
Mm-hmm.
they're always gonna come. It's never
Yeah.
gonna stop. But number one thing, like we said, and everybody's different. You have to learn how to love yourself. Even if you gotta be by yourself, that's fine. Look, ladies, gentlemen, ain't no death sentence. If you single, don't let nobody fool you. But if you have to, it's okay. Take that
Mm-hmm.
time. Like we said, what makes me happy? What do I love to do? And that's what we forgot along the way, growing up, raising our kids, all that. What does Manima want to do? What's gonna make Manima happy? You know what I'm saying? And we find that. And to the people that have unfortunately taken their lives, we kind of feel like they had the right people around them and the truth, really of who they were. And they knew how to process and deal with that better. Because, like I said, a lot of us don't know better. I don't think they would have done that. But, like we said, we're not the judge. We don't know what them people was going through.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people that's out here making everybody smile, they might be the most depressed because
Yes.
they like to help others, and make them laugh and smile, and they dying on the inside. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people don't want to share that because judgment. People gonna ridicule you, or just like we went to a mental health institution one time. We just
Mm-hmm.
grabbed our keys, walked out the door because we felt like we was gonna do something to ourselves. Called the
Mm-hmm.
hospital. We were still in Florida. We told them, "Look, I'm about to hurt myself. I can't do this." They was like, "You need to come here now." The person we were with at the time actually got mad at us, and we sitting there like, and you wonder why I'm sitting here? I'm going through a hard time and you can't even support me. That's why we just said, if you had the right people around you, you can deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Or if we weren't so afraid, you could deal with that. But Mental health is, we don't care what anybody says, it's very real. People out here going through stuff right now. It ain't our job to judge them or for them to be who we want them to be. You got to meet them where they at. We would love for people to be better, but you got to meet
Wow.
them where they're at, you know, and especially if we've been there, you shouldn't do that. It's, I'm not saying walk around like you a robot, but don't be evil. You can be who you are, but just don't be evil. You know, you never know. You could be the straw that break the camel back, and that person does go home and try to unalive themselves. You never know. We had to teach that lesson to our oldest son because he was bullying somebody in school. It was like, do you want to be the reason why they might go home and commit suicide? We had a long talk with him. Like our daughter went through mental health. We talked, you know, a few times out the week. You know, we lift each other up, encourage each other. But it's just, if you going through that, ain't nothing wrong with getting no help. There's nothing wrong with that, and don't mean you're crazy or you delusional. You just don't really know how to process and deal with all the things that was going on around you. And if you anything like us, and our upbringing, we was meeting strangers in foster homes. Like, I don't know these people. I want to go home. But we didn't understand at the time that that wasn't the best place for us to be because we were around, can't remember what, we were in elementary school. I think we were like 10, 11 years old at the
Mm.
time, probably around that time. But we didn't understand that's not where we need to be right now. And not saying our mom is a bad person. If it weren't for her, we wouldn't be here. So,
Yeah.
um, you know, it's it's like living in a mental prison. But the trick is that a lot of people think they can't get out. You can.
You can.
We live in proof of it.
Yeah. You know what I got from what you said is that you have a positive anchor right now, which is the religion, and that is what is anchoring you spiritually and finding, greater value in
Yeah,
this gift of breathing, breath called life. And yes, because it's a gift.
it
When
is.
you sleep and you wake up, it's a gift because many of us go to bed, not all of us wake up to see the sun.
Exactly.
So it is a gracious gift. And also, finding a way to love yourself in a sense that not everybody will love you,
No,
and not everybody will love you. But if you learn to love who you are and talk to you have
that's right.
that conversation with you, because there is the self, the little self, and then the ego that when
Yeah.
bruised we become really like,
Yep.
hurt. And
Yep.
then there's the self in totality with all the emotions and everything. So there are two competing parts, but we need to figure out which part. And I and learn that when people also are talking at you or saying things at you, it's really showing you who they are. It is not particularly about you. It is showing you who they are. And I have a personal experience at work on somebody nitpicking on me. And I've
Oh,
been in my profession for 2 decades.
oh, wow. Really?
Yes, they were nitpicking at me. I ignored it. And later on, I said, no, I'm not going to ignore it because this is becoming annoying. It's
Yeah.
showing me a pattern of who this person is, this gossiping, this backbiting, this distraction of a mental whatever. And unfortunately for me, I let it get to me.
Yep. We all have.
And I said, no, I am pushing it right back on this person. I am not taking it. And this is what is going to be. And I don't have to take it.
You don't.
And you messing with the wrong woman. I'm too old for this
Oh,
bullshit.
man. And then that's another thing. You got to get to a point where you too, you know, I'm too old for this. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to
But
do all that.
that is because I'm grounded in myself as a black woman, as an African woman, as a storyteller, as a nurse, as somebody who's taking care of mothers and babies for 20 years.
Yes.
You got nothing on me.
Yep. That's the mentality you got to have. Like, ain't, and our husband, he joke all the time. He like, It's a million people out there. I'm like, yeah, but they ain't me. We weren't able to say that 20 years ago. We be saying, oh my
True.
God, I can't believe you talk to me like that. I cannot believe. They ain't me. You can go find somebody else, but they won't be me. You can do whatever, won't be me. But that's how you have to get. Or you can get like our husband and just be. And we want to say heartless, not to say nothing bad about him, but when you get to a point where you just don't care anymore,
I
about other
don't
people's opinions and things.
I really don't
Yeah.
like using the word I don't care. I
Hmm.
care enough not to let it come to me, so I just put it back.
Yep.
Mine is caring it doesn't cross into this beautiful,
Yep.
purified
Yep.
space
Yep.
that as you bring in it, it bounces off that positive energy field and right back at you.
When they say kill them with kindness, they try to take a shot at you. Just say something nice. They ain't gonna like it. I promise y'all. Try it if you don't believe me.
I love you too. That's
Try it.
my word. I love you too.
Exactly. Yeah. And people used to say that, and we be, oh my God, he said I was stupid. He said, okay, now what we gonna do? You don't
You
like me?
say,
Okay. I,
okay, thank you.
thank you. And
That's
that's the
it.
thing. I
Yes.
think you said a minute ago, everybody's not gonna like you. They're not gonna accept you. They're not gonna support you. And that's, oh my God, something we stop. Everybody's not gonna do that. But still, don't let that stop you from doing what you want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they're not, but people insult us now. We just roll off our shoulder. Okay, I guess y'all want to do me then. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So it's so funny
it,
because we
it,
can
it, it
laugh. Now.
now we could love, but I also learned in the process and having these conversations over the years is that positive attracts positive.
Yep.
And sometimes even the conversations we have, it's, I sent you a message last night, I reread it this morning, and I read it and it's like, did I write this message? It's like,
Oh.
did I write this message? Was I half asleep or fully awake?
And
And it's
we
like, I reread it this
yep.
morning. It didn't make sense to me because in every conversation we have, whether it's written or verbal, there is a tone and there's a reception of the message. So now my thing is, oh my goodness, if I wrote this or if somebody wrote this to me, how would I think? And this is not my patterned writing. So what went off? I just felt I had to say it.
And and we didn't even think anything of it. We was like, oh yeah, okay, I got you. We'll be there tomorrow. We didn't even think anything of it. And see,
No,
that's the thing. You know what I'm saying?
that's a good thing
Yeah.
because that is not my pattern. That's not the way I write to
Got you.
guests.
Got you. It, it happens, girl.
That's not the way I write to guests. And I'm very particular
Yeah.
about conversation because in life, if you want to get something good, you give good. You sow a good seed in a fertile soil, you get a good plant. If you sow a bad seed in a fertile soil, you get a bad plant.
What you put out in the world is what you're gonna get back.
Karma.
You put out negativity, that's all you're gonna get back. And you wondering why you're not living a good life. We always used to say, we had a sister, perfect example. Attitude, negativity, just no, just people in general. If you ever run across anybody like that, how in the world do you think you're gonna live a good life and you angry, you vengeful, you evil? It doesn't work. It never works. So that's why what you put out there, we can go down the line. Karma, you reap what you sow, what goes around comes around. There's so many ways you can say it, but what
That's
you put
true.
out there and how you treat people is how you're gonna be treated. So when people, another difference. People do wrong to us now. Okay, you'll get what's coming to you. 5, 10 years ago, we'd be ready to fight. We just keeping it real, because you're not gonna disrespect me. You gonna respect me. You gonna listen to me. I was arguing, but like we said, when you get to a different level and a point in your life where you really grow, it don't even really phase you. It doesn't. But you have
I'm
to get to
really
that.
happy you found that spark, that light, that universal light
Oh man, so are we.
that brightens. It is a hard work, don't get me wrong. It is hard work. However, it is hard work that pays beautiful proceeds than anger, because anger festers. Anger is negative. It is dark. It pulls so much energy out of you that you become so miserable.
It does, and it can kill
And
you
you
too.
not it can kill you. And you cannot even laugh.
We love to laugh. We watch the same shows over and over. Our husband be like, "You watching this again?" It's a reason because we just love to laugh. You know, we get serious. Don't get us wrong, but it's just so much darkness and so much negativity going on. We just try to laugh. Like we say, even on our worst days, like as much as possible. We'll crack jokes with our husband. We mind each other 24/7, girl. We always need each other's face. But overall, yeah, we love to laugh. We watch comedy show, cartoons, whatever, and you have to do that. You walk around angry, just like a friend of ours that we knew. She just passed away a couple of days ago from a heart attack, and we found out from a friend of hers that she was stressing out. And we just had a conversation with our husband, like it's a silent killer, because
It
people
is.
they don't know, like, and we get it, like we ain't judging. We ain't coming down on nobody. We know it's so much stuff that happens in your life. It makes you angry. It's not fair. It pisses you off. It's like, why me? Why I have to go? What did I do? And even if you did do something, you can fix it. It's never too late to fix it. So nobody is without a past. Struggles. We all done messed up. We can go down the line where we done messed up at, but um,
True.
it's just getting to that next level where you just unbothered. That's what we was thinking of. Unbothered. And no matter what happens, just like this year we made a promise to ourselves. This is the first time I think we're saying this out loud. It was like, no matter what happens this year, keep going. You all it's like we hear a line in our head like you almost there. Keep going. Do not quit. I got you. Husband says the same thing. We tell him the same thing. So it, everybody's different. We can't stress that enough, but you gotta get to that point where you can just laugh. Just like
Yes.
people used to say stuff to us about our weight, height, the way we talk, whatever, we get mad. Now we just respond with a joke. Or the sarcastic comment, like, so what we gonna do now? We go into the whole spiel. They like, oh, let me get away from her. Really? And we're like, wait a minute, because I'm Muslim, y'all can't. What's going on?
So
But
for many of us Africans, it's not nothing new. A headscarf is not anything new. Whether
yeah,
you're Christian, Muslim, or a traditional whatever, it is part of a dressing code. And when you see our gele and our scarves and everything, it comes in different styles and whatnot.
oh, we love this. It's so pretty. Like,
It's intricate.
it is.
It's intricate. So there is nothing really new about head covering within many of the African societies or
Yeah.
African cultures. There's nothing, how do you call it? If it's too hot and you're walking under the sun, put a cloth over your face.
Whew.
Your head
Take
is
that off.
covered.
Or drink some
So,
water.
drink some water. Yes, but I.
Learn, like,
Mm-hmm,
following Islam is you can still we dress modest.
mm-hmm.
We dress modest, so we wear garments, hoodies, and no form fitting tight clothing. That's what the messenger teaches us, and like we said, the headpiece. And first we was like, well, wait a minute, how am I supposed to dress? Like, what am I supposed to do? So we didn't buy clothes for a minute, but we started figuring out, okay, you can still, just like in Africa and whatnot, you can still dress modest and still look beautiful. So we've grown to like the headpiece. So it's been very nice.
You
And
know,
even if we have a
sometimes
bad hair day, nobody's gonna know.
the most important thing about any religion It's the spirituality in it. It's here.
All in there.
It's here. And for me, the reason why I don't like different religions is that it's used to divide us as human beings. And I don't subscribe to that.
No.
However, I subscribe to the human religion, which is we all deserve respect, dignity. We need to be accountable to ourselves and to each other.
Yep.
Those core principles
Yep. That's
that
so
I live, yes. Even by design with the queen herself.
yes.
Guys, you got to listen to her podcast, the Queen Mimi podcast on YouTube. And you're going to get a lot more. And the positivity talk also on LinkedIn Live. At least that's where I know I have seen it. So,
It's on other platforms as well.
mhm.
Make sure that LinkedIn, YouTube, I guess they call it X now. It was Twitter. I didn't know they changed
Yes,
it. Yeah. Um, so LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. I don't know if you use Twitch or not, but
Twitch. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
it's live every Sunday, 8:30 a.m. and we do our radio show every Tuesday, 8:30
Mhm,
p.m. Central Time. So that we have two different YouTube channels, so we try to keep them separate because we do our radio show a little bit different than the podcast.
mhm, mhm.
But yeah, you guys follow us. We would definitely follow back and check your page out. And we like to show support. We don't care how small it is because we know how hard it is doing podcast or radio or whatever you're doing. And a lot of people they don't gravitate to it if you ain't hot. So we just like to follow the small podcasters, that's up and coming, and whatnot.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
however we can show support, we know how it is. It's hard out here. It's hard.